This is a tutorial about how to alter the properties of an indicator that you've added to a chart. In just a moment, we're going to look at a handful of examples of how to do that using Trading 212's web app. It's all quite simple, but I think fairly useful. So do make sure you watch to the end of the video so that you get to see all the examples. Hello, I'm Peter Martin with Trading 212, and we add tutorials like this to YouTube each week. If you click on the subscribe button and the alarm bell icon, then you won't miss out on any of those videos. Now, when you're adding an indicator to a chart, a good place to start is with the default or recommended values. These are often the ones that are customary to use or the ones that have been advocated perhaps by the person who first developed the indicator. But there may come a time when you feel you want to tweak these just to get them changed a little bit to suit your own needs. So that's what we're looking at today. As I said before, just some simple tips, but I think they're pretty useful. So let's jump in now and look at these using the web app. So here is a chart of Boeing. Really, we could have chosen any instrument for this, but I've chosen Boeing because it's a stock that has been in the news of late. And we're going to add a few indicators here and just show you how to play around with the property. So let's first of all add the momentum indicator, which is a pretty standard oscillator. I'm going to right click on the chart and then select indicators, oscillators, and then momentum. So up pops this dialog box with the default values. It's calculated over 12 periods. The line's going to be red. And we could change these here if we wanted. This number 1 actually represents the thickness of the line. So let's click confirm and we add that on with the default value. So let's say we just wanted to change one of those, something pretty simple. We could change the color. If we wanted to go via that right click one, it becomes a bit of a process. If we click right click and then select manage objects, indicators, momentum, we get that dialog box up again and we can change these values around. A much quicker and easier, simpler way of doing it is to go over here to this icon, Chart Explorer, open this up, and then we can see our momentum indicator down here. We can see our period, color, and thickness all at once, and we can just quite readily change these around nice and easily. So let's bin this and add on another indicator. So this time I'm going to add on a simple moving average. This is a trend indicator, simple moving average. Period, the default value is 14. Now, out of all the indicators that I regularly use, moving average is probably the one that I'm most likely to be altering the defaults for because it's a very versatile tool, can be used in lots of different ways, and part of that versatility comes from meddling around with the periods over which the line is being smoothed. So 14-day periods is not very much on a daily chart, it's just 14 days. It doesn't give you that much smoothing. If we add that on, we can see how closely that mirrors what's going on with price, and maybe for your own purposes, you are looking for a smoother line. And so we could alter that here by altering the periods. Really the question when you're changing these values though is it becomes a trick of knowing how smooth the line is going to be without a lot of trial and error. So if you were going via this method of right click, manage objects, indicators, simple moving average, and then typing in your new value each time, it's going to be a quite laborious process of trial and error to try and work out what you're going to get. What's beautiful about this method here is that I can just click these arrows up and down and I can see in front of me how much smoothing I'm getting for my value that I've chosen. And so it becomes very easy for me to get the right amount of smoothing that I'm looking for. And obviously we can change the cosmetics very easily here as well. Also, once again, if we wanted to, we got this to the right value, but we didn't want to look at it for the time being. We wanted to go on to use this chart for something else, but we didn't want this line in it. We could click on this icon here and just remove it, but if we wanted it back again, it comes back with the same values we had before. And if we want to get rid of it, it's very easy to bin it using the trash icon there. Now let's move on to add on a third indicator. Let's add on a volatility indicator. This one we're going to add on Bollinger Bands, one of the better known volatility measures. So Bollinger Bands, what it does is it plots 3 lines on the chart. So you have a middle line, and this is marked as yellow, which is just a moving average that's smoothed over this number of periods. And then we have an upper and lower line that are plotted a certain number of deviations away. So standard deviation is just a statistical measure of how dispersed the values in your data set are. We don't really need to get into the ins and outs of that, but the crux is that the more volatile the market is, then the more dispersed the data and the further away that line will be. If we increase this multiple of standard deviations away, then it's going to put them further away anyway. But let's add on the default values here. So here we can see our Bollinger Bands.
above and below the market. And if we wanted to play around with these values, once again, it becomes much easier if we see, so the period is the smoothing. So if we just, perhaps we want to see what it looks like with not very much smoothing. So let's just remove that so it's going to follow price very closely because we've got a small amount of smoothing on our moving average, but then we just want to make it a bit further away naturally via 3 deviations away or 4 just to see how that looks, or if we just wanted 1. So we can go through all the permutations very quickly and easily here by playing around with the chart properties on the side of the chart here. What is also useful is that it shows you the increments that you can change by without getting confusing. It's very obvious what you can change by, but if we were to go back to this other method and go manage objects, indicators, Bollinger Bands, and type in standard deviation, if we put in like 2.5, we might think that it's done this to 2.5, but actually if we look here, we can see that it's actually rounded it up to 3 there. So this is a good way to alter some values there.
So just a few examples there of tweaking the properties of an indicator that you've added to a chart using the web app. Don't forget, you can download for free native mobile apps for iOS and Android, and you'll find links to those in the video description. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the thumbs up button and give us a like, or if you want to send us a message, why not share your thoughts with us in the comments section. We do read each message that we receive there. But that's all for now for me, Peter Martin, and Trading 212. Thanks for watching. Hopefully I'll see you next time. Goodbye.